Forrest Gump is the soundtrack album based on the Academy Award and Golden Globe-winning film, Forrest Gump, and contains music from many well-known artists. The score, composed by Alan Silvestri, was released separately on the same day. The album was reissued in 2001 with additional tracks. Charts: the soundtrack jumped from number 34 to number 7 on the Billboard 200 Albums chart on July 30, 1994. The next week on August 6, 1994, it moved from number 7 to number 3, staying there for 1 week. It reached its peak position of number 2 on the charts on August 13, 1994, staying there for 7 weeks until September 17, 1994, when it was displaced by the soundtrack of The Lion King. The Forrest Gump soundtrack dropped from the charts on October 15, 1994. Track listing: Disc 1, Hound Dog performed by Elvis Presley Euro 2:16, Rebel Rouser performed by Dwayne Eddy Euro 2:21, I Don't Know Why, But I Do performed by Clarence Frogman Henry Euro 2:18, Walk Right In performed by the Rooftop Singers Euro 2:33, Land of 1000 Dances performed by Wilson Pickett Euro 2:25, Blowin' in the Wind performed by Joan Baez Euro 2:49, Fortunate Son performed by Creedence Clearwater Revival Euro 2:18, I Can't Help Myself performed by The Four Tops Euro 2:43, Respect performed by Aretha Franklin Euro 2:27, Rainy Day Women No. 12 and 35 performed by Bob Dylan Euro 4:35, Sloop John B performed by the Beach Boys Euro 2:56, California Dreamin' performed by the Mamas and the Papas Euro 2:39, For What It's Worth performed by Buffalo Springfield Euro 2:38, What the World Needs Now Is Love performed by Jackie DeShannon Euro 3:13, Break On Through performed by The Doors Euro 2:38, Mrs. Robinson performed by Simon and Garfunkel Euro 3:51, Disc 2, Volunteers performed by Jefferson Airplane Euro 2:04, Let's Get Together performed by the Youngbloods Euro 4:36, San Francisco performed by Scott McKenzie Euro 2:58, Turn performed by the Byrds Euro 3:54, Medley, Aquarius Let the Sunshine In performed by the Fifth Dimension Euro 4:48, Everybody's Talkin' performed by Harry Nilsson Euro 2:44, Joy to the World performed by Three Dog Night Euro 3:16, Stoned Love performed by the Supremes Euro 2:59, Raindrops Keep Fallin' on My Head performed by B.J. Thomas Euro 3:00, Mr. President performed by Randy Newman Euro 2:46, Sweet Home Alabama performed by Lynyrd Skynyrd Euro 4:43, It Keeps You Runnin' performed by the Doobie Brothers Euro 4:13, I've Got to Use My Imagination performed by Gladys Knight and the Pips Euro 3:30, On the Road Again performed by Willie Nelson Euro 2:29, Against the Wind performed by Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band Euro 5:33, Forrest Gump Suite composed and conducted by Alan Silvestri Euro 8:49. In August 2001, Epic released a special collector's edition which added 2 tracks, Running on Empty, and Go Your Own Way, that are featured during the Run Across America sequence. They also remastered all the tracks. Disc 1's sequence remains the same while the new Disc 2 follows this, Volunteers Euro Jefferson Airplane Euro 2:05, Let's Get Together Euro The Youngbloods Euro 4:37, San Francisco Euro Scott McKenzie Euro 2:59, Turn Euro The Byrds Euro 3:55, Medley, Aquarius Let the Sunshine In Euro The Fifth Dimension Euro 4:48, Everybody's Talkin' Euro Harry Nilsson Euro 2:45, Joy to the World Euro 3 Dog Night Euro 3:16, Stoned Love Euro The Supremes Euro 2:59, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head Euro B.J. Thomas Euro 3:00, Mr. President Euro Randy Newman Euro 2:46, Sweet Home Alabama Euro Lynyrd Skynyrd Euro 4:44, Running on Empty Euro Jackson Browne Euro 4:56, It Keeps You Runnin' Euro The Doobie Brothers Euro 4:14, I've Got to Use My Imagination Euro Gladys Knight and the Pips Euro 3:30, Go Your Own Way Euro Fleetwood Mac Euro 3:40, On the Road Again Euro Willie Nelson Euro 2:30, Against the Wind Bob Seger and the Silver Bullet Band €533, Forrest Gump Suite Alan Silvestri €850, audio cassette. The audio cassette release did not include the following tracks: Walk Right In, Land of 1000 Dances, Blowin' in the Wind, For What It's Worth, Joy to the World, Stoned Love, Raindrops Keep Fallin' on My Head, Forrest Gump Suite. Additional songs. Songs in the movie but not on the soundtrack include Love Sick Blues Hank Williams, Sugar Shack Jimmy Gilmer and the Fireballs, Hanky Panky Tommy James and the Shondells, All Along the Watchtower the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Soul Kitchen The Doors, Hello, I Love You The Doors, People Are Strange The Doors, Love Her Madly The Doors, Hey Joe the Jimi Hendrix Experience, Where Have All the Flowers Gone? Pete Seeger, Let's Work Together Can't Eat, Tie a Yellow Ribbon Round the LA Oak Tree Tony Orlando and Dawn, Get Down Tonight KC and the Sunshine Band, Free Bird Lynyrd Skynyrd, Running on Empty Jackson Browne, Go Your Own Way performed by Fleetwood Mac. John Lennon's song Imagine is mentioned in the film, but does not actually appear in it, therefore it is not on the soundtrack. Charts and certifications, see also, List of best-selling albums in Australia, List of best-selling albums in the United States, references.